Hello everyone, this is Catherine at One Precious Pearl, and this beautiful pile of napkins is what I want to talk to you about today. I enjoy using napkins in my projects and not, but when I buy a packet, I don't always use every napkin. So I have put together several packets and am listing them on my Etsy store. And you'll see above in the right hand corner some of the packets that I've put together. I have the link to my Etsy shop in the description below, and I hope that you'll go check these out. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use the napkins in my own projects. As you can see, I'm separating them. The majority of the napkins that I use are either 2 or 3 ply, and occasionally I will get a 1 ply, but either way they have to be separated. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to start with a masterboard of sorts and use that later in the video to make a tag that will match the other projects that I will be completing. In all, it will be 4 projects: this masterboard, a page in my journal, and then 2 tags. So first I laid down a layer of just other pieces that I have laying around, and then I've added some doily, and I actually put some coffee grounds on here. I like the way that looks when it comes through from the napkin. I've taken one of my stamps, script stamps, and I use permanent ink because I will Mod Podge these on, and I don't want the ink to run. So here I am using the Mod Podge, and in this particular case I actually ripped the paper a bit, but I do go back and cover it. It's not major, but I would just recommend you try to be more gentle than I am here with your brush. Occasionally I also will thin down the Mod Podge with some water. Not necessarily need all of that thickness that comes with it. I really like this daisy pattern napkin. It's only 1 ply, really thin, and somewhat more translucent than like the craft paper that I use, the craft paper colored napkin that I use. The next project I move into is one of the 2 tags, and these are some of the elements that I want to use on that tag. Here I'm obviously cutting the corners off, but this particular paper is from Park Lane, and it has the feel of wallpaper. I'll put the name of the paper pad in the description below. I got this at Michael's, but you can get it at Joann's or at Hobby Lobby as well. So here I'm peeling back. I'm going to put a tag in the front, and I want to be able to put the brad through and cover it up on the back side. And I'm going to use a small scrap of the craft colored napkin. On the front I add a couple of those elements that I talked about. Here I'm using a gigantic awl to cut or to punch through a tiny hole, but it was what I had where I'm working today, and so I made it work. After I glue that back down, then I turn it over, and as you can see, I'm just cleaning up the pieces that I have already glued on to get the straighter edges. This just happens to be a dictionary piece that I had and glued on, and then I add the lace, and now Following this, I'm going to add the craft paper napkin again to a piece of coffee dyed paper, and I wanted to make a paper ruffle, and it does work, but I'm going to say up front it would have been better if I had just sewn it. I didn't have my sewing machine with me. What I end up doing is gluing it, and it does work. It's just really messier than I prefer, but again, it does work, and I liked the way it turned out. I cut off the excess on the right hand side there, and I want to put it across the top. So I originally had it going one way, and then I changed it to the other direction so that it looks like it is flowing out to the right and then down. Moving to the next project, this is going to be a spread in my temporary journal. This is the one that I carry with me when I'm traveling. It's also where I keep the pages that I'm working on for several different journals, and then I can take them out and insert them in whichever journal I choose. Put some decoupage, or excuse me, some Mod Podge on here, and I'm using that craft colored napkin again, plus I will also use this patterned napkin. Lots of Mod Podge. And then I like to seal it as well. I want to use this photo as my focal point along with these other elements that I'm showing you right now. This is a picture of my uncle and my mom when they were children. They are both gone now, but it's such a sweet picture, and I decided it's going to go in one of my memory journals. I'm adding this flower, which I'm going to fussy cut quickly, and that will be part of the collage. After I've done a quick arrangement of the pieces that I'm going to use, I take them off and then I start gluing them down. This small piece to the left from the pattern napkin, I thought kind of looked like a tree, so I am going to put that on Mod Podge. I cover all of the elements after I've glued them down with the Mod Podge. Occasionally this can add kind of a sheen, and I don't like it when it's not even across the page, so I'll just finish up by using it on all of the elements. appropriate sentiment for this particular page. And now I'm going to be finishing up with it. I am very pleased with the way it turned out. If that yellow would be too bright for some, a way to tone that down would be to take some white gesso or thinned out white acrylic and just take your finger and go over it. I'm fine with the brightness, but it's just another option. On the other half of this spread, I'm going to make a pocket to put the tags in. Fabric seemed to work the best adhering this to the paper. And then one last corner element. The final project now is to return to the dried masterboard, and the Mod Podge has actually made what started out as just media art paper with paper scraps and tissue on it quite stiff, more like an actual cardstock feel. So I'm cutting it out, or tracing around it and then cutting it out so it will be the same size as the tag I finished earlier. Again here, if that yellow is too bright, you could take white gesso over it. I am fine with the color, but it's just another option. As I've shown you, I do use Mod Podge when I want to use napkins in my projects. I like the way that it holds the paper down. It doesn't move around as much when I'm using a brush because of the thickness of the Mod Podge. But another option is just to use a glue stick. I know there are several artists that's the route they go. This just seems to work the best for me. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on a piece of coffee dyed paper that I have Mod Podged the pattern napkin on, just again to, this will tie in the 3 pieces. And then I turn the pattern piece over so it isn't quite as intense, and glue on the sentiment. Here are my finished tags. I am really pleased with the way they look and how well they coordinate. And tucking them in the pocket, my complete project. Interested in this kind of art, do check out my Etsy page. I have, I think, 12 or 13 different packets with 2 or 3 napkins of one pattern, 5 patterns in each packet. So thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure to have you with me, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon.